Hello and welcome to Precon Decon, the video series where normally I deconstruct the pre-constructed decks of Magic the Gathering's history. However, I thought it was time for another trash talk video, hot on the tail end of Season 6, where we've just looked at all those Planeswalker decks. I thought I decided to talk about something a little bit more topical this time, where instead of the usual kind of rambling that I usually do, this is a different kind of rambling about something a bit more I say topical, because we're going to talk about Modern Horizons 3, which is coming out in a few months. And what I really wanted to talk about was kind of like my wish list for Modern Horizons 3. I'll just get into it. So Modern Horizons 3, I'm looking forward to it because I have enjoyed the previous Modern Horizons sets. I don't play Modern at a competitive level or anything, but I do enjoy those sets because of the because of the cards released, because of the references to certain events in lore, certain characters, or kind of the creativity around using old mechanics in different ways. And they are just interesting sets anyway, aren't they? Because they either make old cards modern legal, if that matters. Well, at least it puts them into a nice new frame, usually with nice new art. Or it's for the actual competitive players out there who it matters to, it's usually a good way to get reprints of certain high value cards, like the shock lands or the fetch lands. But as I say, I'm mostly interested in the new cards that come in Modern Horizon sets, and for the most part, these are usually fine and cute, and say they're fun references. Sometimes they're a little bit problematic, but for the most part, I'm not so concerned about the effect these cards are going to have on Modern as a format, on any kind of meta or anything like that. I'm a pretty obviously casual player. I mean, as you can probably tell, we've looked at all these all these precons and stuff, and that's my kind of level. That's the level I like the game at, this kind of casual kitchen table level, rather than big high cost modern format decks, super competitive meta. That's just where I get my enjoyment from the game, is the very casual, cheap side of things. Mostly because all my money goes into little plastic fight dudes, and and also mostly because I'm a lore guy, right? So I do really enjoy those callouts in Modern Horizons, where, like I said, moments from the from the history, or certain characters who never got cards before get cards, or it's a continuation of cycles, or stuff like that. That's what I really enjoy. And basically I think it's because Modern Horizon reminds me of Time Spiral, or it's Time Spiral turned up to 11. Time Spiral is one of my favorites blocks as a throughout the entire of Magic's history. And because it's a whole block based around nostalgia, right? And so Modern Horizons is just more of that. And I like seeing cards where I can point to and be like, I know that reference, and it just gives me the hit of the happy brain juice. So that's why I'm looking forward to Modern Horizons 3. I say not because it's going to shake up the meta in a certain way or anything, or anything like that. It's just because I want to see some fun cards, which are references to, I say, things that I think deserve reference, or re-implementations of certain mechanics. So with that said, this is my wish list for Modern Horizons 3. I say my super casual wish list. It's not for anything like, oh, this particular color needs this, needs a card that does this because it's got that gap in the meta. I don't care about that. I say this is for really dumb silly things that I think could find a place in Modern Horizons. I'd be so happy if they were. So just to really set the vibe for this wish list, a card for Tarashi, the Sun Kami from original champion Sakamigawa. So that's just that, right? I hope that establishes the the tone of this list. This is as serious as it's going to be, right? So Tarashi was always a character I wanted in Champion Sakamigawa, because he's the Kami of the Sun, and he gets referenced on at least 3 cards: Tarashi's Verdict, Tarashi's Cry, Tarashi's Grasp. This is the art from Tarashi's Cry. So I'm not sure if this is meant to represent Tarashi. I'm okay with him being a giant purple dragon head going, "Rah!" That's fine. I'm okay with that if that's what he is. But yeah, for a character that gets mentioned as much as he does, as a legendary Kami, it was really surprising we never got a card for him. So I would like to see that. I mean, it took years, but we got Kadamas of all the trees, I suppose, all the Kami of the Kadama of the north and south and east and west and center tree. So we could definitely sort of hop back in time a little bit and get Tarashi, or it'd be fun to like maybe see what Tarashi is like in Neon Dynasty, like Tarashi like the Neon Sun or something. See like sort of like some like electric cyberpunk Tarashi. That might be kind of cool. But yeah, that's what I would like. So my second wishlist item is a Tr Mage for mana value 4 or 5. So this is a cycle that started way back in one of the Mirrodin blocks. I can't remember which one off the top of my head, but I want to say Fifth Dawn, probably with Trinket Mage. Yeah, maybe. And then we had Treasure Mage in Scars of Mirrodin. And then Tribute and Trophy have showed up in previous Modern Horizon sets, or I think Trophy Mage was maybe in Battle Bond. I don't know, but yeah, this is a whole little cycle here where we have Trinket Mage that gets you an artifact that's 1 or less, Tribute gets you something that's 2, Trophy gets you something that's 3, and Treasure Mage gets you 6 or greater. So we need something that gets you 4 or 5, maybe like 4 or 5 are like on a single card, but yeah, I'd also be happy with having one that gets 4 and then one that gets 5. Also, I think I'm mostly just interested because I want to see what I think we're running out of synonyms for like valuable things that start with TR. So I'm just morbidly curious to see what happens there. And I mean, someone in the comments might say, no, we can't have a 3 mana searcher that searches up an artifact with 4 or 5 because like currently there's this really broken artifact that's like mana value 4 or 5. As established, I don't care about that. I'm really selfish and I want to see this cycle completed for pure completionist reasons. So yeah, that's my second wishlist item. Moving on, my third wishlist item, I would love to see a reference back to the old Apocalypse wedges. So way, way back in Apocalypse block, the whole selling point of Apocalypse, which is so charming to look back on it, was just the fact that like, oh wow, this white card has got a black mana symbol on it or a red mana symbol. Like these colors aren't normally associated with each other. That was like the whole selling point of Apocalypse, was just enemy colors, and that's just set design these days. So I find it really charming that was at the time that was the main selling point, that it felt so fresh and different. So yeah, some sort of reference back to these in some way. I don't know exactly how. Maybe I was thinking maybe like maybe a retake on like the Volvers here, because the Volvers were like, they were kind of cool, but like also pretty bad. You had to sink a lot of mana into them to make them somewhat viable. They sort of like predated keyword counters in a way, because like on Necrovolver, for example, it has trample, but only if you pay the green kicker cost. So you would have to find a way of tracking that it had trample. So I guess now that would be like keyword counters. So like some sort of like new spin on the Volvers would be okay. They also used to have in Invasion Block, they had like the Scape Masters, which were like the shard color ones. So you had like Thunderscape Master. It was a red creature and had like green and black abilities. So having like Dagger Master, who could be a creature with like like a grown up, more powerful version of Dagger Disciple, that might be kind of cool. And they sort of did something like this in Planar Chaos. They had like Anna Battle Mage as a one-off, which was like a reference to the Anna wedge here, which was blue, black, green. And it was also a reference to the Battle Mages from Plane Shift, which had like these double kicker cost. So I would love to see like another Battle Mage for like one of the other 4 Apocalypse wedges, like either the Dagger or Necro, Rakra or Sata. That'd be really cool, I think. Probably not going to happen, but like I just think like, so I mean, like these days obviously we refer to the wedges by like the Khans of Tarkir names like Mardu or Sultai or whatever. But yeah, back in the day, these were what we called the wedges. So I would like to see them get some sort of like tribute or homage paid to them. Tribute, that could be an amazing name for one of the Tro Mages. We haven't had oh no, we have got Tribute Mage. Damn it! All right, I thought it was being so clever there. Anyway. I thought it was being so never mind. So my fourth wishlist item would be a young Planeswalker cosplayer. So this started with young Pyromancer, who is like meant to be, like established as like a fan of Chandra, which is why they wear like the goggles, and they're a Pyromancer like Chandra is. And then in a previous Modern Horizon set, we had young Necromancer, which is obviously like a young fan like cosplaying as Liliana, which is why she's got the headdress and everything. And both these cards are actually pretty good, I think. Like young Pyromancer is, I think, really, really solid. Young Necromancer is like, I don't think as strong, but still like pretty good. So it'd be fun to see this cycle continue and get like like young Telepath, who could be like someone who's like cosplaying as Jace. You could have like young Beast Speaker, who could be like a kid like cosplaying as Garruk. Like basically another young Planeswalker cosplayer fan, I think could be really, really fun as a continuation of this cycle. It'd be really fun to get like a whole like 5 of them. Like an Elspeth cosplayer could be really fun. That might be okay. Anyway, yeah, stick some ideas what you would like to see as like a young cosplayer planeswalker fan in the comments below, because yeah, there's obviously so many planeswalkers, so many good ideas that could be turned into creature cards. So another item on my wish list, which is not related to Modern Horizons, is for you to hit the subscribe button. According to my analytics, about half of you watching aren't subscribed. It would really, really mean a lot to me if you did hit that subscribe button. I'd really like to get up to 1,000 subscribers. That would mean like a lot to me. It would really, yeah, if you could just do that. It takes you like 2 seconds, and I say it does mean the absolute world to me. Ugh, that was like my first proper like YouTuber thing to do. Ugh, don't know if I liked it or not. But yeah, if you subscribe, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Anyway, back to the Modern Horizons wish list. So this is the big one, I think. An obscure keyword or tribe like 2-color archetype. So this is like, I think, one of my favorite things about the Modern Horizons set is that they take an obscure mechanic or an obscure tribe and like spin it out into like a proper like 2-color draft archetype with a bunch of supporting cards and stuff. So, for example, in Modern Horizons 1, we had blue-green snow as represented here by Chillapilla, which was a snow creature. It also had monstrosity, so Chillapilla is like has to be like one of my favorite cards, right? It's like a snow creature with monstrosity, which are like two of my favorite things stuck together. Arcbound Mouser is from Modern Horizons 2, and that was like the red-white modular archetype where you had a bunch of modular creatures and kind of did a lot of stuff with that. And also from Modern Horizons 2, we had black-green squirrels, which has like kind of always been like a lol, random, quirky fan favorite, and they actually got like quite a lot of support and actually became pretty good, I think. So I would love to see something like this in Modern Horizons 3. So I had some thoughts about what could be, although these are all these are more like wish list items again about things I would like, like obscure tribes or obscure keywords I would like to see get expanded out on. So my first idea was Splice. I could see this as like the blue-red kind of like draft archetype, and it sort of has been a draft archetype before from Modern Masters, but that was just like reprints from Kamigawa. So a bunch of like new spells with Splice I think would be really fun, and like I think play to this blue-red idea of like crazy scientists, wizards like stapling together like a huge crazy spell like made out of all these different parts. You would drop the Splice onto Arcane and just change it into like Splice onto Instant or Splice onto Sorcery, I suppose. But you could also do like a lot of things with creatures. Like you could be like, oh, whenever you cast a Splice spell, do something, like the first Splice ability you activate each turn costs certain less. You could have a bunch of like interactions and synergies like that. I think that would be kind of cool for blue-red. A different way of doing blue-red spells. Fortify, I thought could be a thing. So this is the only Fortify card in the game from Future Sight, Darksteel Garrison. Fortifications are basically equipment for land. And I could see this as like maybe being like a white-blue or a white-green kind of draft archetype. Sort of like tie it into like an animating lands, like synergies, that kind of stuff. So you could have like really basic fortifications, which is like, oh, fortified land is like a 2/2 soldier or something. You could do something like that. And you could have, if you wanted, like a big kind of splashy money card, you could have like legendary fortifications that like turn lands into like Gaia's Cradle, right, or Tolarian Academy, or Cabal Coffers, like something like that, like a big, like masterpiece, legendary, splashy, iconic land. You could have something like that as a legendary fortification. That could be kind of cool. And the last idea I had was for champion. So I could see this again as either like white, red, white, green, like the traditional like heroic colors. So champion is from original Lorwyn block. And it's essentially like champion creatures are just like really, really pushed for their cost, but like the downside is you have to exile a creature that usually like shares a type of them, like the Thoughtweft Trio here. You have to champion a Kithkin, which means you exile the Kithkin. It represents that Kithkin kind of turning into the more powerful version. And you could just the only reason I want more of it is because there wasn't a lot of it, and I think it's like a mechanic that you could do kind of like a bit with. You could do it with kind of synergies of stuff being exiled or stuff that re-enters play. Stuff like, oh, when you champion a creature, you get this benefit. Stuff like that. I don't know. That's just off the top of my head. But I thought these 3 mechanics would be quite fun. Would be quite fun to kind of spin out into like proper 2-color draft archetypes. As for creature types, had some thoughts on those as well. So I would love to see horrors get some sort of like attention. Horrors are like probably like one of my favorite creature types. Like I have a lot of favorite creature types, honestly. Horrors are up there somewhere. Most because they have like really amazing art, like Frightcrawler here. This is one of my favorite arts in the entire game, and basically I would like to see them get some sort of like identity over nightmares, which I feel like is the other main sort of like default creature type for black, where it's like, oh, this is kind of a scary monster, flip a coin, is it a horror or is it a nightmare? So I'd love to see them get something that gives them an identity over nightmares, because nightmares, I would say I'd normally associate nightmares with like milling. Maybe because they're usually associated with Ashiok, who usually does stuff involving milling. I don't know what you could do with horrors. Maybe like emerge, maybe, or I don't know. I'd be interested to see them get something. Another tribe I would love to see get support is Viashino, the lizard people themselves, especially like the ones from Jund who are like really beefy crocodile dudes. I would love to see them get something. I don't know exactly what. They could be like giants. They're like kind of a red mid-range tribe. You could give them maybe like attack triggers or something, or maybe something to do with like +1/+1 counters, or I don't really know, because like Viashino don't have like really, I guess, like a unifying identity like like maybe say like goblins or zombies do. So it'd be fun to like give them something that's like uniquely theirs. That'd be kind of fun. And the last one, completely out of left field, would be the Night Stalkers. So there's like 7 Night Stalkers in the whole game, and most of them come from Portal 2, where they were like the main black creature type there, rather than say like zombies or whatever. And they were like these creepy dudes who lived in swamps. Apparently just had straight up just guns, which was the thing in Portal 2. Like a lot of people just had guns. And yeah, I mean, aside from that, there wasn't really much else to distinguish them, because it was like a Portal set. There wasn't really a complex set in terms of mechanics. So really, they were just kind of like reskins of existing black creatures like Scathe zombies or whatever. But yeah, it'd be cool to bring like the Night Stalkers back in some way. Maybe like make them blue black. I want to say, give them sort of like evasive abilities, like prowl maybe as a returning mechanic. I know, it'd just be kind of cool to bring them back and sort of like reimagine them in some way as, say, these creepy dudes who live in the swamp and shoot you, and yeah, and also give the spell Return of the Night Stalker something to do other than just return, let's say, 7 creature cards in the whole game. So yeah, that was just my thoughts of creature types that could be spun out into 2-color draft archetypes. So number 6 on my wish list is a Lizard with Reconfigure. So Lizards, if you don't know, and I don't blame you for not knowing, are a creature type from way back in Tempest Block, and they were I would say mechanically, they were kind of ahead of their time, because it was doing something quite interesting. So Lizards were creatures, and they all had this ability where you paid a certain cost, tapped them, and they stopped being creatures and became auras attached to a creature, and they gave them that creature like an ability. So for example, Quickening Lizard here would be a normal 1/1 creature. You pay its ability, and then you attach it to a creature, and then it's an aura that gives the enchanted creature first strike, which is like I think kind of fun. Like it's a fun idea to have this creature jump around and give them give different abilities. So there's I think maybe 2 or 3 like per color. But what I thought was really fun is in Kamigawa Neon Dynasty we had Reconfigure, which is basically this exact key, this exact ability of the Lizards, that where they can they're creatures who can jump on and jump off creatures to give them abilities. So I'd really love to see like a Lizard with the Reconfigure ability as like a really nice like nod to that. And instead of being artifact equipment creatures, they would be maybe like enchantment aura creatures and stuff. So that could be kind of fun. Be a really like loaded type line, I suppose. But yeah, I just think that would be kind of fun. Doesn't have to be particularly good. I just think it would be like a cute reference to have, especially when we have Reconfigure, which I say is basically this ability that the old Lizards had, which caused, from what I remember, so many like rules nightmares back in the day. And then my last wishlist item is a proper Hercules/Heracles reference. So I was really surprised in all the Theros sets we've had, we've not had a solid reference to Hercules, who I'd argue is like one of the most well-known iconic characters from like Greek mythology. And I've heard some claims that like Hero of Iraeus is meant to be like a Hercules reference. I don't think it's good enough. Like Hero of Iraeus is just a buff dude. I think we could really lean into a Hercules reference, like because we had I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it's the Achilles reference from Theros Beyond Death, where it's like you pick a random converted mana cost and he has protection from everything except that converted mana cost, which is a really nice way of representing like Achilles having his one weakness. So I would love to see like a proper Hercules reference, like referencing like his labors in some way. I mocked up something here, which like I don't know. I don't think it's a particularly good card. This is just something I thought of at the top of my head. It could work up like a level up creatures, I suppose. But Erethicles of the 12, so 4 mana for a 4/4. He has a ability for like 1 Boros hybrid man. You put a labor counter on him, and basically he gets stronger and more keyword abilities depending how many labor counters he has on him. And when he finally has like 12, then that's his maximum power. Then he's an 8/8 vigilant menace trampling indestructible demigod, which I think should just be like a fun reference. But yeah, it doesn't have to be exactly that, like I said, but like it would be fun to get like an actual proper Heracles representative in from Theros. So that was again just that's really just the whole vibe of this wish list. Really dumb callbacks and references to old cards. So that was my wish list for Modern Horizons 3. I would love to know what your wish list items are for Modern Horizons 3. Like, do you like these suggestions? Do you have your own? Please stick a comment below and I'll give those a read. Always love hearing people's like guesses or like estimations or predictions for like what's coming in a future set. I always think that's a really fun thing to do with Magic and Magic sets. If you like this, I might do another video like this maybe for like Thunder Junction or like any other sets that are coming out, because I do like making predictions about what may come out in future sets, even if I don't play those sets. We can still have fun like talking about them and what might come up and what interesting cards might come up in terms of like mechanics or themes or whatever. Anyway, I'm rambling now. I hope you enjoyed this video, and yes, have a fantastic day. And what's the next video going to be? I think the next video might be something that people have been asking for, like for a while, but maybe not in the form you've been expecting. Let's leave that as a little as a little ominous teaser there. But I'll see you next time with whenever that video is ready. But until then, I say thanks for watching and listening, and have an amazing day. And yeah, I say stick your own thoughts about Modern Horizons 3 in a comment below, and I'll give those a read. But anyway, rambling now. Have a great day. See you later.